but hopefully we will get a full day's. Here's Green in bowl short and paddled round the corner by Bartlett, and I don't wonder if anybody had actually seen it down there. So Rehan Ahmed looked as though he hadn't picked it up, but anyway.
Do you know what? I think he was just having a joke.
Oh right, okay. But he was sort of. I don't know where it is.
I think as he pointed towards Pete Hanscom left.
Cleanly enough, since it's return, they come through for an easy. Bartlett to 49. 278 for 4. 2 balls to go in the over. Green to bowl to James Sales, who's beaten outside the off stump. That's another beauty. Now, is that over? I'm sorry, there must be a
ball behind.
Ball behind.
Well, I'm going to swap out for Richard now, Andrew.
Okie doke, Roman. We'll be back with you later. So 278 for 4 it is. Then that is over. Sales is 10, Bartlett is 49. The light just seems to be closing in a little. It was
it's got gloomy again,
bit brighter sort of 10 minutes ago, wasn't it? But it just seems to have got a little bit murky. I think, is the new ball being taken? I think it probably is. We haven't seen it brandished yet to the scorers, but
well,
it is.
It has been rolled by Marcus Harris towards the old ball box. Missed, Marcus. That was a really good things straight. Simply over 134 in the circumstances, but and plenty more from the again, Northampton's building a solid partner for the 5th wicket, 29. It is worth between Messrs Sales and Bartlett, who's joining in.
Just slightly turned around by that first ball. Plays it out into the onside and there's no run. And you just get the impression that the batters are slightly suspicious of maybe the bounce or just this two-pace nature that we've been discussing. They're just seeds of doubt being sown. But to be fair, I think all the Leicestershire bowlers today have been very impressive, I think, as a unit. I'm sure their coaching staff will be very happy with what they've seen so far. 3 slips in place, Scriven running away from us. Bowls, and again turns Bartlett round, hits him on the thigh pad. Just goes for a little jog off in the direction of square leg to try and run off the discomfort.
Suddenly it's doing all sorts.
It is, it's
old ball, new ball.
Terror track. 278 for 4. The batters certainly are giving it the closest possible attention.
If it's the sort of, as the temperature, I don't know. The only thing that's really changed is the temperature has fallen markedly. It got even colder.
Lights are on. Here's Scriven, in bowls on the leg stump, and that's gone down for 4 somethings. Buys. Oh dear, Ben Cox is not going to be happy tonight, is he? 4 more buys down the leg side, 282 for 4.
Yeah, it's certainly well into double figures for buys now.
Yeah, he's done say more diving around than your average EFL goalkeeper on a Saturday afternoon. As somebody with a motorbike that needs silencer looking at, roars away down either Curzon, might have been Curzon Road, I think.
Milligan Road.
Milligan Road.
That one, yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it needs some.
There's an Angels chapter based there.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
I think it was possibly one of their Harleys.
Here's Scriven in on leg stump again. Bartlett getting inside the line, trying to help it down towards fine leg to get the runs for his half century. Doesn't make contact. Oh, so you'll be at the meeting a bit later then, Richard, will you?
Absolutely.
I wonder what that leather jacket was at the back of the box, with the studs on it.
The chrome, the large tins of Duraglit.
Well, with my
must take a lot of polishing those things, must they? Keeping shiny.
Well, with my beard, I've got the sort of the ZZ Top look, haven't I? So here's Scriven. In and bowls to Bartlett on 49. Bartlett carefully, watchfully forward, pushes it out to extra cover where Rehan Ahmed fields. And there's no run. Yes, it looks, it's just over to our right, isn't it? That I think that's where the weather's coming from.
Temperatures are coming from the Arctic.
Yeah, it is cold. But we're nice and toasty in our commentary box anyway, for which many thanks to Leicestershire County Cricket Club. Here's Scriven in again, bowls and driven, or attempted drive, and he gets hold of it to an extent off the outer portion of the bat. It's not where he intended. He was looking to drive through extra cover. It goes through backward point, but it's 4 runs to George Bartlett, and it brings him his first half-century in first-class cricket for Northamptonshire in his 4th innings for the club. 53 off 114 balls. And at the end of the over, first one with the second new ball, Northamptonshire 2, 86 for 4.
Yeah, just the last sort of half an hour he's looked a little bit scratchy, but he'll relax again now, I suspect. 286 for 4. Northants firmly on top at the moment. And the new ball is going to be shared, as you probably heard the announcement there, by Matt Salisbury. Acting well, but 3 slips behind. Salisbury comes slight from 10. Somebody worked it back into gap, from Sales, and cycle a little bit. Part of the back down to the ground through gap.
We're talking about Sales Senior, David, and he and Abby James's mum, I think, got there when James, when he made his 100 against Middlesex, was in the 90s, so they just got there in time to see him get his 100. But yeah, great moment for the family.
Went into double figures now, 1 to 14. As Salisbury comes in and bowls to him, short pulled for lovely shot, short armed pull, saw it early, got it wide of the reaching mid wicket, whose Tom Scriven couldn't get there, and crosses the wicket. It's very much James. He's not known as Jim or anything like that.
Well, he has various nicknames along the lines of sort of mini jumble and this sort of thing, but no, definitely a James.
Mrs. Sales would like to know the reason why. In goes Salisbury and bowls straight, pushed out into the offside. Immediately Sales sees that it's going wide of Marcus Harris. He's not the quickest over the ground, Marcus, at mid-off. And consequently there's a comfortable single to be taken. He moves on to 19, 295.
You had a chance to spit out and he said no, but he said he'll moan about one of the shots I played or something you won't be happy with. So I don't know how that conversation panned out later.
Salisbury is in to Bartlett on off stump, slightly short of a good length, so stays just about on the back foot, guides it out into the offside.
I'm sure will be trying to get the Mike Clark Oval at Overston Park Cricket Club, where he's involved now, ready for tomorrow. So first day of the Northamptonshire League season, but James unavailable for Overston Park this weekend.
Salisbury bowls, Bartlett is driving, doesn't get to the pitch of the ball. Keeps his head over it, so although it's in the air for a few feet, it's well short of Harris in terms of bouncing at mid-off. Recompose himself, think about adding plenty before the close, but the close not so very far away now, 13 overs and 1 ball. Salisbury is in bowls, that one comes back a touch towards Bartlett, who covers up solidly, leaning forward, back up the pitch goes the ball. Salisbury takes his sweater, 1 for 50 to him, and Scott Curry, so the wickets, such as they've been, shared out.
Off for the day at Headingley, Yorkshire 276 for 3 against Derbyshire, but no further play there today. Wickets continuing to fall at the Oval, where Surrey are now 61 for 4 in reply to Hampshire's 153 all out.
16 still trick any sort of
Not sure it does anymore because they have Matt there. Quicker. Yes, the bourgeois kitchen appliances, Richard, but
coffee maker.
Here's Scriven, the Viking, running away from us, and Sales is in behind that, plays it out to mid-wicket, and there's no run. I think the Northamptonshire support staff, or at least some members of it, having a little walk around the ground. We've got as far as the sort of apricot coloured seats at the far end at the bench. I think getting next week at Kipworth, I think. so he'll doubtless be involved with that. Runs the second team. Here's Scriven in again, bowls outside the off stump. This time Sales lets it go by.
Good facilities at Kibworth.
Very good indeed, yes. I mean, Josh Cobb is there, of course.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. The station
did very nicely, thank you very much.
Yes, I remember playing there a few times and getting hit into the sort of the driveway of the fire station on the other side of the road. There's Scriven, and that's a beauty, and he's caught, beautifully caught, low down at slip.
He's asking,
Sales
did not look very
good Sales going in, and 35 for 5.
I think the catch was Pete Hanscom. Grasp it just before it hit the ground.
It's fair enough. Sales just turned to Jack Shantry and said, "Did it carry?" And umpire Shantry said, "Yep, on your way."
Beg your pardon, Kimber. It was.
So Louis Kimber taking the catch low down at first slip. That was a really impressive grab, especially on a day like this when you're struggling to feel your fingers. But it gives Tom Scriven a second wicket, picked up the first. He sort of bookended the day so far as the wickets are concerned. Picked up the first one this morning. Vasconcelos bowled for 30, the only wicket that Leicestershire picked up before lunch. And he's picked up, well, may not be the last of the day, of course. Still 12 overs to go as Safe Zabe comes to the crease off the back of a 100 against Glamorgan last week. But Sales 19 off 31 balls. So
it's a nice shot, say James Sales, but just a couple outside that he flirted with, and that just the outswing. He didn't throw the kitchen sink at that one, but it was just a good ball, took the edge.
It was indeed. It'd have to be the air fryer now, I suppose, wouldn't it? Is the thing that everybody seems to be talking about in terms of kitchen appliances. Leicestershire fielders and bowlers just having an opportunity to have a little drink, and the 12th men down there, one of whom is Josh Hull, instantly recognisable.
And the other Sol
Budinger, who was on the field earlier on, just trotting off. So, back to a left-hand, right-hand combination. Zabe, the left-hand, just wants to last some out to 9 4 2 short lead, and Zabe and Thatcher to 99. But him adding made point and salary. They see his role as the sort of role that Adam Rossington played, Josh Cobb played for a while in Championship cricket, going in the lower middle order with that licence to counter-attack. And I'm sure it's a role he's relishing. He's facing his next ball and he just plays that out into the covers where there's no run, and that's the end of the over. A successful one for Tom Scriven, 16 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 64. And at the end of the over, it's 299 for 5. George Bartlett 53, Safe Zabe 4.
Right. Northants be thinking if we can beat 340 for 5, that's very much our day. Leicester should be thinking 6 or 7, and it's a sort of shared day. Although having been put in, anything over sort of 350 you feel is always going to be the batting sides. Stay back. So further the gully. Rishi Patel backwards of square for the. He's not really well. He is saving one, but he's also there for the skewed drive in the air as Salisbury's in bowls. Bartlett back foot defensive push firmly out into the offside. Rehearses a firmer punch away. Again, Green the fielder.
Looks as though Sir Curtly Ambrose was here today, briefly. He's not here tomorrow, but all 4 of the Knights were in the ground.
They will be, in the ground. I don't, because they're doing Q&A somewhere in Leicester, I think, tonight.
Sir Andy and Sir Viv will be back tomorrow at the ground, according to the Leicestershire media people.
In goes Salisbury. Bowls again. It's getting up a little bit, climbing on Bartlett a touch as he went back and looked to punch out through the offside, and he looks quizzically back down at the pitch. Rehearses the position he'd got himself back into and wanders down. Gives the pitch a fairly perfunctory prod.
photograph there on the Leicestershire social media. It's not hard to spot
Curtly.
Curtly Ambrose.
He's probably carrying an extra pound or two from his
No.
bowling peak.
No, he could bowl a bit.
Couldn't he? Salisbury is in, bowls driving in the air, but in between Green at cover and Harris at mid-off, and it runs out to the extra cover boundary 4-4. Certainly didn't keep that one down, George Bartlett, but give him the credit of saying, well, he found the gap. Moving on to 57. Put it up for Northants and a second batting bonus point.
Well, as we say, with Northamptonshire managing one batting point in the first 9 games of last season, it's all a little bit different this year.
Very. How many is that now, batting bonus points? Maximum?
That's a few now.
In goes Salisbury and bowls fuller this time. Bartlett still waiting on excuse me, waiting on the back foot, plays it firmly, comfortably, but as mid on.
It's the 11th of the season.
So every prospect then, I guess, of the maximum.
Yes. Yeah. Could be.
Return as Salisbury is in. Bowls turned behind square on the onside by Bartlett. Sees that Ahmed has got to pick up and change hands. He does so quickly and gets in a good throw, and Cox, sort of in reward for the throw as much as anything, whips off the bails. Into youths, and they've gone on 59 and 5 for 5. 11 overs remain tonight.
Luke Proctor and Emilio Gay getting their steps in around the ground at the moment with, I think that might be Greg Smith, the new batting coach. But yes, it's all it's all a bit different from last season's trials and tribulations for the Northamptonshire top order. But they've got to win some games, as every side, of course, these does in Division 2. And what we were saying earlier with Roman is such a potentially tight division with a lot of strong squads. A little bit of sunshine trying to break through as Scriven starts a fresh over short, pulled by safety on 4. Set up position actually, and that's 2. There is a man down there at long leg in front of the floodlight pylons. Other than that, we have 2 slips and really a sort of 4th slip rather than a gully. Backward point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. And round the wicket comes Scriven and driven by Zabe crisply to backward point, but can't get it past Rishi Patel. And there's no run. I shall make way for Roman at the end of this over. Scriven walks back to his mark, just down below us here. So a little bit of sunshine, still plenty of cloud around, but the light perfectly okay at the moment. And that next ball bounces, and that's hit Zabe, I think, on the left hand, and that looks painful. Glove is off straight away, which is always a bit of a sure sign. One imagines we may see Nick Allen, the Northamptonshire physio, that has hurt him. Yeah, that does look just bounced a little bit, and yeah, I think you may need the magic spray or similar. So I imagine we shall see. He's waving the physio on. So let's hopefully it's nothing too serious. There is indeed Nick Allen, the Northamptonshire physio. The umpires conferring. Just take the opportunity to just update you on the other matches. Durham 338 for 7 now against Essex up at Riverside. Colin Ackerman out for 112. But, well, get 100 against the Essex attack at the moment. Is actually 151 or 76 for 4 now. They're on 20, bless him. And yeah, you brought up the number thing with to be make a report. They still they do. I'm sure they'll correct it in the old days of the pitch pan for 3 hours. The Dutch was going to impose it.
From Northamptonshire point of view, it looks as a they continue being examined. So clearly
not 8 for Warwickshire and 100. I dare say it's under Christian on the green. Obviously, might need some after these stairs myself tomorrow from the back. 3:13 for 5, Zabe to 12. But the reward that we get of the stairs is the fact that we do get a very, very good view over the ground. Here's Zabe facing Scriven again and plays defensively and takes his hand off the bat in doing so. And we have got a bit of sunshine now, haven't we? A bit of evening sunshine.
40 steps last time. Maybe 39 when I counted them the other day. But
just rare, could be.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, Scriven, 1 ball to go in his 17th over, 2 for 72. And he's in again to bowl to safe Zabe, who's still, you can tell, in a certain amount of discomfort as he plays that out into the offside. And there's no run, fielded by Ben Green. That's the end of the over. 3:13 for 5 it is. Safe Zabe is 12, George Busfield and for Women Walker. And we'll have a little change around of our microphones.
Salisbury from the Bennett end comes down the slope, bowls to George Bartlett. Bartlett stays on the back foot and into the offside. And of course, when both sides have batted on him.
Yeah, I think the Leicestershire bowling attack have they've stayed hungry all innings.
Salisbury is in straight again. Bartlett stays on the back foot, likes to stay on the back foot if he can. Again, blocks it out into the offside. Ben Green, the field.
I think there's a full place, and I think when you see that out of a pitch, the easiest thing to do is keep your mind clear and just try and put the ball in the right place. I know it sounds very easy.
Salisbury is in, walking forward into sort of attempted drive is Bartlett. Again, it wasn't too short. He looked to stay on the back foot, that walked into the shot, and it was a thick outside part of the bat. Salisbury's hands started to go into the air. Again, Green the fielder. Slightly rolling gait, Salisbury, as he runs in and bowls, and that is driven, that is 2 full. This time Bartlett does manage to get his weight on his front foot and drive it away to the electronic scoreboard, along the ground all the way. He and Zabe touch bats. They don't really bother to run, didn't need to do so. He moves on to 63, 317. Whisper it, but our feed here is up and running again. Salisbury is in and bowls, and again slightly squares up. Bartlett, who instinct is to stay on the back foot, thick outside part of the bat, squirts it out into the covers. Green dives to his left and makes the stop. 9 men to be bite after this as he turns, gets into his stride, comes in and bowls, looking to drive again is Bartlett, comes in a touch, and the on drive runs straight out to Lewis Hill at mid-on, end of the over. 317 for 5.
Well, 9 overs remaining in the day, and it could be a really interesting period actually with Safe Zabe at the crease. Such a naturally aggressive batsman, and as I understand Andrew saying earlier that Sadler has given him a little bit of a licence this season so far, so it may be interesting. Leicestershire may just get a couple of chances with the ball misbehaving as it has done over the last couple of overs.
It was hooing at everyone. If it by any chance found a thickish outside edge, he was up. So I missed that noise.
Scriven in, and it's down the leg side this time, stopped by Cox on the 1 bounce. As we just see there from Gully, Scott Curry running away to the sight screens, rolling his arm over. We may just see him for a little 4-over spell to end the day. As Tom Scriven will be hoping to get his third of the day here in this little spell. They've bowled nicely again with the new ball. A few stray balls, but the majority being right on the money. It's 2 straight this time from Scriven, and it's tickled down to fine leg by Zabe. He moves on to 16 off 11 balls, and he really has. He's cashed in on any bad ball that's been given to him so far, and I make that 4 fours.
You're right. Yeah, all his scoring shots have been boundaries.
So that, you know, and fortunately have come off stray balls. So Scriven changing the angle here. Looks like he's coming over the wicket to Zabe. He's going to look to use that angle to go across him, with the odd ball coming back in with a bit of swing as he runs in again past the left shoulder of Ben Debenham, and he does beat him with the angle. Zabe driving the ball, not quite there to drive, but given the balls he's hit so far and how cleanly he's hit them, I don't blame him for having a go.
Overs have been shared fairly. It's always 16 Scriven in green, 19 on 17, so everybody's put in a shift, as they say.
Yeah, and I think that, again, is credit to the bowlers for how well they've been bowling. We've not needed a part-time spinner or anything to come in and take a few overs. Scriven in again and beats Zabe, just catches the outside half of the bat and beats him on length, I would say. Didn't really get forward to the ball.
And no wides, no balls, which
good to see.
Yeah, and it's not something that we've always seen with Leicestershire. I remember how many no balls there were in the first matchup at Yorkshire. Plenty.
There were a fair few, yeah. I think maybe as we get on into the season and everybody gets used to their run-ups again and the rhythm of bowling, we may see them decrease as we have this game. As Scriven in slightly straight, bit of swing onto the legs of Zabe as he flicks that out into the leg side for his first non-boundary runs. That's 2 to finish the over. So that may also contribute the over rate there, Richard, being +3.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you 2 or 3 extra overs. Yeah, sure, or more.
Yeah, well, I think
as well.
You add 2 overs onto it, it's probably best part of 10 minutes being added onto a session, which means all the other overs that you bowl have got to be 10 minutes quicker overall in a session, which isn't easy.
So a quick change at the Bennett end. Salisbury comes off, Curry comes on. Can he nibble a couple out for? Let's see. West wide. That's what goes backwards. To a backward point, so maybe a double change in the offing. Curry is in, bowls again, 2 wide. Some nice bounce and carry again, taken with his gloves pointing upwards by Cox. Round about chest high to his right. Again, 2 wide to persuade Bartlett to play it in. Very chest on as he runs in and bowls. Again wide, again Bartlett says okay. I'll be patient, lets it swing through to Cox. I think Bart getting a good look in as well.
Yeah, it's easy. Good. I've a feeling about this ball, Rich.
Okay. Curry is in and bowls.
It was a good feeling.
That it was going to be outside off stump and he was going to let it go through. That was the feeling again, was it? 4 in a row.
I'd be lying if
Could we get an over of these? Could we get an over of these? There's a gentleman sitting in the Mountain Building Society family stand. It's 1 man. Oh, no, there's a couple more on the other side as well, but underneath one of the white sort of umbrellas over there. Must be 100 yards away from the play. In goes Curry and bowls straight, and Bartlett covers up. Plays it out to mid-on. And there's no run. Hill picks up. Rishi Patel is in a catching position now. He's gone into gully with Curry bowling. Just the 2 slips. That was a super catch from Kimber, did you see?
Yes, yeah, very low to his left, sorry. looked as though he saw it slightly late as well and reacted to it, caught it next to his left ankle.
Curry's in, and 5 balls out of 6 outside off stump, swinging away, but allowed to swing away by George Bartle. Only one over, felt obliged to play. 3-2 remains a score of maidens and maidens. That was probably one of the latter.
You know, if I bowled that over, I wouldn't be too disappointed at all. You know, you're still bowling the ball, you're still swinging it, and should the batsman choose to play it, you're in the game. And of course, Curry would have wanted to be straighter there, but you know, he'd be playing Anthony if he single ball where he wanted it. But from what we've seen today, his future bowling club there is bowled in it. So a little deep today from over the full outside of it off. Since coming, one just gone in the look. His natural aggression may just play into his hands here towards the end of the day.
He's not shaking his hand off anymore, so I guess either the painkiller has kicked in or it's eased off one way or another.
Scriven in again, angled run up into the crease, bowls, and it's the other one this time. It goes away from the left-hander and left alone. Good skills there from Tom Scriven.
Yeah, just needed to be a touch straighter, didn't it, to nibble away outside or off stump. Lovely shape to the delivery there.
Yeah. So deep point out, just giving him a little bit of protection, as they know how strong Safe Zabe is there, cutting away through the offside. You can try and take his boundary options away from him. May just pile a bit of pressure on him towards the end of this day. And again, swinging it away from the left-hander from over the wicket, Tom Scriven, as Safe Zabe jabs it out to that deep point position I was just talking about for a single. And Batch again, 63 not out for him. Safe Zabe's on to 19.
Yeah, when they have Leicestershire been able to, as you put it, bang bang, every Northants batter has got themselves in. I suppose Sales' 19 is kind of the lowest. Naya got 18 as well, didn't he? But he hung around for a while.
Yep, Scriven in again, cocks up to the stumps for Bartlett, and they've taken a quick single to Captain Lewis Hill there. Enough angle just to tap and run. Yeah, I think even though it was 18 and 19 from them two lads, I think that's still probably best part of a 30 or 40 partnership,
Exactly, yeah.
Which just slightly takes away the momentum from the... Yeah, just enough to put them off course. Again, as we see this partnership now between Bartlett and Zabe tick over to 30. Scriven in, looking for a wicket, and a good leave from Zabe. Just looked to straighten that ball. He's left it on possibly 4.5 fifth stump. It's a confident leave, considering Tom is moving the balls both ways at the moment. Again, Leicestershire have managed to nip the run rate down over the last couple of hours from what was looking like it was going to be 4.5 whilst Emilio Gay was in, is now 3.5. It's Tom Scriven in again over the wicket and wobbling again after the stumps, which we've seen really good stumps taken clean as the over the place.
Brad has mentioned Nyla Hills, and he's at which to keep wicket, partly because of the slightly variable bounce. He said, but he also wasn't a brilliant seeing ground. He said his end of the season, his bruises all over the place.
Yeah, I think this pitch compared to a traditional Grace Road back, and given the conditions, wobbly but heights of the keepers.
Curry in Robert. Who picked what?
I'm really not sure. I think Rish is 26, and I may be getting his family members wrong, but there are a couple of family members that are born on the 26th, and I believe he is also born on the 26th of a month.
So there's a sort of lucky Patel number. That one just outside off stump from Curry, looking to drop in.
We've got a number, haven't we, in our squad with Tom Scriven number 88 and Sol Budinger number 1.
Curry, slightly angled run is in, bowls very straight, dug out by Bartlett, waited for it and played it firmly back up the pitch on the onside hill. Tumbles over to his left as he makes the stop fairly straight behind the stumps from mid-on. Bartlett picks up a single, moves on to 65. Playing rather now as though he is more conscious of the close of play, Only being 5.5 overs away, he wants to be there tomorrow. I don't think Safe Zabe will necessarily change the way he plays. If it's out there, he will probably go for it still.
Yeah, I think maybe the positive way is the best way for Zabe.
Scott Curry goes round the wicket to him, bowls, and a little bit short coming back in. He stays on the back foot and blocks it back down the pitch. Curry, as is his wont, picks it up and then underarms it high to Ben Cox behind the stumps. Do you prefer, as a bowler, for the fielders to do the polishing, or do you like to get it in your hand as soon as possible?
I think if I can help it, I'd love someone around the fielding circle to get some polishing done for me. And, you know, obviously if it gets to me and it's not quite up to standard, I'll give it a polish myself.
Curry is in, outside off stump. Zabe forward, then lifts his bat over the line of the ball.
You know, sometimes the fielders don't get enough time to put enough work into the ball. You know, it could have gone for 4. It could have, you know, just hit the shiny side on the way down, or as it hit the bat. And it seems the fielders always want to rush it round to you because you're at the end of your run up and they don't want to stop you and you're over. And sometimes it is nice, as we see there, Scott Curry just taking a couple of seconds there, just give the ball an extra little polish, give yourself the best chance.
He's going to go over the wicket to Zabe. Bowls outside off stump, edge caught. Yeah, went for the drive and he found the outside edge. Curry punches the air with delight. You could hear the edge in the effects. Mike Safe Zabe didn't play for the close. He still went for his shots. It was slightly wide. He wasn't at the pitch of the ball, went for the drive. Thickish outside edge taken by Cox. Had a fair way to move. Took it almost in front of Louis Kimber at first slip. Probably as well he did though. And the 6th wicket has fallen.
Yeah, not too happy with himself there, Zabe. Maybe feels like he missed out on some runs with that ball as it was full outside off. But Curry playing with his angles there, changed to over the wicket and went across him and got the edge. A fantastic piece of bowling from Curry, and gets the wicket he has he's deserved all day. Gets his 2nd wicket, and I would say very confidently that he deserves more, as do possibly the other bowlers in the attack, bowling so well together in partnerships.
Well, one more before the close, and Leicestershire would say it probably has been just about a balance there. I still think Northampton will be fairly pleased having been put in, and from what they've seen, particularly in this last session, from both ball and the pitch, particularly ball though. 2nd bowling bonus point for the Foxes, so all level in that respect, 2 apiece. Chris Tremaine comes to the crease to replace Safe Zabe.
It is a night watchman, isn't it?
Yep.
Lewis McManus seems to have opted for.
He can't face the opprobrium of the crowd. All 8 of them. No, I'm sure that's not the case. I think anyway the crowd is too frozen in their seats to do anything too much.
It would be broken speech if anything. Shivering, as they say.
Yes, chattering teeth.
Yeah.
Remember Hassan Azad, they'll be saying. Yeah, I've got a 6 to do, so if I don't know, do you want to call it a day, Roman, and we'll
Absolutely.
We'll bring Andrew back in for the final knockings of the day.
Perfect.
Hope you've enjoyed your first full day of commentary.
Yeah, off home for me now.
Good lad.
I'll maybe catch the last couple of overs from the car, but I certainly won't be standing outside in the cold.
You won't. Thanks for your efforts,
I will see you tomorrow.
You will. Ben Green is going to replace Tom Scriven at the pavilion end. Andrew comes back alongside. As Green goes in and bowls. Nice delivery on off stump, worked by Bartlett out into the offside though. Rehan Ahmed picks up and makes as though to hurl the ball at the stumps left-handed, but doesn't bother letting it go. Brings Tremaine on to strike. 3-2-7 for 6. So, Safe Zabe 19, James Sales 19, Karen Nair 17. But they have occupied the crease and built a decent partnership while they were there. Clay Andrews just about sorted out. It's taking a while. In goes Green and bowls to Chris Tremaine, who's going to pick up runs. In fact, he might pick up 4 of them. He leant forward to the outswinger, guided it down and perfectly competently through the sort of vacant 4th stroke 5th slip area and picks up an opener's 4, so to speak, off his very first ball.
It's the trouble with all the stuff we carry around with us, isn't it? It's just going in and out of commentary seats, but great to have Roman with us today and look forward to him being back with us tomorrow. I mean, I do feel that, you know, Northamptonshire will feel they've had a pretty good day here, you know, barring something stunning in the last few overs, but I think Leicestershire have plugged away really well, and come back to that.
Green is in, bowls a fullish outswinger, just a little bit too wide to persuade Tremaine to have a drive at that one.
And we're always hearing about units, aren't we? The batting unit and the bowling unit, but I think the bowling unit today for Leicestershire have collectively done a really good job. They've plugged away. They haven't had the best of luck, I think, over the whole day, but especially if we are going to get a shortened match.
Green is in, bowls on off stump. Suggestion of shape to the delivery, but Tremaine more than competent in dealing with it on the front foot defensively, out into the offside.
And if the forecast is right, and we are going to get some rain perhaps on Saturday into Sunday, then runs on the board may well be very handy.
Green in, bowls again full, almost looking for the Yorker, but Tremaine again right in line on off stump, blocking it out to mid off.
I think the other thing is it's been a surface that's given us a very interesting day's cricket. It's given, you know, it's been decent to bat on, but it has offered a little bit of help as well to the bowlers, as of the overheads, and it's made it, I think, quite an absorbing day's cricket.
In goes Green, goes past the outside edge. Well, Cox is interested, but Green's appeal was belated. He went up, or he appealed, I think, in response to the sort of noise and the confusion behind the stumps. I thought there might have been a little bit of a noise, and perhaps there was, bat on pitch perhaps, but Green's appeal, as I say, was very much an afterthought.
Yes, altogether or not at all, as they used to say, but
it's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it,
yeah,
when the bowler doesn't go up straight away.
Well, interesting use of the night watchman, because Chris Tremaine does have a first-class 100 to his credit out in Australia, but his career average is nothing particularly to write home about in first-class cricket, but obviously just keen to keep Lewis McManus under wraps until tomorrow. His career average in all first-class cricket is 12.6. Bartlett is facing this next ball from Scott Curry, next over from Scott Curry, the first ball of which is played out defensively out into the covers where Scriven fields, and there's no run. 3:31 for 6 it is. Scott Curry into his 21st over, 2 for 67 has the wickets of Emilio Gay, and then just a few moments ago Saif Zaib. Here's Curry in again. Bowls to Bartlett, who drives without any timing. It runs up to mid-off, and there's no run. I suppose from Northamptonshire's point of view, they'll be a little bit frustrated that 3 of their batters got in and got out. Cameron with 18, James Sales 19, Saif Zaib 19.
Does Vasconcelos on 30 count as one of those?
Well, he did it. Well, they
did a good job at the top of the order, really.
80-run partnership and did, lay the sort of foundations. Driven by Bartlett again, rather more firmly and with better timing up to mid-off, but less chance of a single.
Yes, but they were disappointed that there are no hundreds to add to the collection so far. So far, George Bartlett, 66 not out.
Well, Emilio Gay, I can reveal to the surprise of absolutely nobody, was very disappointed not to have gone on to 3 figures, but anyway, strong start to the season continues. Here's Curry in bowls and clipped away by George Bartlett down towards long leg. Fielded down there by Rehan Ahmed. Sends in a not fantastic return, which Cox takes on the half volley. One more to Bartlett, 67 to him. And Northamptonshire to 3, 32 for 6. Floodlights on. But, and I dare say you would have got decent odds on this earlier in the week, it looks as though we're going to get pretty much a full day's play, which is, say, a pleasant surprise.
And whisper it, not far from being on time.
No, well, that's wonders will never cease.
There's the real surprise.
Well, we've had some,
doesn't happen often, folks.
As I'm sure you have, Richard, had some very, very late finishes. It was 7:15 last week.
Yeah, ditto at Derby.
Here's Curry running into bowl to the night watchman, Chris Tremaine, with 3 slips and a gully, but that's on leg stump and allows Tremaine just to clip it down to Rehan Ahmed again on the long leg boundary. Takes Tremaine to 5 and Northamptonshire to 333 for 6. I don't know if Chris Tremaine's Uncle Mark is listening. He often is. He's often regular listener on the BBC commentaries down in Sydney. So if you are listening, Mark, boys out there at the moment at the non-striker's end as Bartlett plays that defensively out into the covers, and there's no run. End of the over, 67 to Bartlett, 5 to Tremaine, 333 for 6. We have 3 overs left in the day.
I'd be very surprised if Rehan Ahmed bowled one of them. Not quite, no, but sometimes the leg spinner's worth a try against a night watchman.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, there you go. He's swinging his arms a bit, so maybe Lewis Hill he's blowing on his hands, has had a quiet word. Toss a couple up, see if we can persuade him to prod forward.
Durham all out for 358 against Essex up at Riverside. 3 wickets apiece for Jamie Porter and Sam Cook.
Scott Curry's calling for help, I think. In on some point on the left side.
351 to Severninghamshire Duckett, 187 not out.
Potentially another double centurion then. Green with that short run is in and bowls on off stump, angled bat, but good work by Rishi Patel.
Well,
sorry,
no, I was going to say the question was asked after the last game about the last time Northamptonshire had 2 inches in. That was 16. Robbie got one also right at the end of the season, but yeah, when he goes big, he goes very big. Ben Duckett, doesn't he? And well, timely. Jack Haynes made 74. Warwickshire have nipped a couple out before the close, but still very much Duckett's day. While there's a discussion about the field.
Well, Tremaine was having helmet issues, so.
Oh right, okay.
That enabled Sesk
still there. Miguel Torres out 9.
And he's had to go to Jack Chantry to get a bit of help with his helmet there, Chris Tremaine. Chantry has obliged. Tremaine is now ready to face. Green in to him, out swinger, but started wide, went a bit wider. And Tremaine understandably had nothing to do with it. Is Scriven going to get one over and Ahmed going to get one over? They could be headers. To get ready to go again. He's young. Different sort of muscles these days, don't they?
They don't have 40 steps to go up either.
In goes Green and bowls foolish to Tremaine, but too wide, outside off stump, and he turns with despairing eye. And in previously wasn't less so perhaps in this one. In he comes and bowls to Tremaine, who is beaten. There's an appeal for a catch behind. Again, Green's appeal was delayed. Lovely delivery. Back, quick slip, but yes, Green turned. You could sense the delay. 333 for 6, 2 overs remain.
Surrey 92 for 4 against Hampshire at the Oval. So Rory Burns and Ryan Patel just hanging on in there towards the back end of the day. Gloucestershire 65 for 2 against Middlesex at Bristol. Middlesex bowled out for 203. That's Division 2, of course. And as I mentioned earlier, close of play at Headingley, 276 for 3 Yorkshire. Adam Lythe made 97, Joe Root 65 not out, and Harry Brook 44 not out. So, penultimate over of the day, it is going to be Tom Scriven. The architecture, I have to say, of that the old manual scoreboard there. It's rather fine, isn't it? It's very distinctive.
The couple o'clock.
Yes. Which isn't working.
No.
Go and wind it up, Richard. Here's Scriven in again, bowls to Bartlett, who's covering up, coming right across his stumps, plays it up to mid-on, and there's no run. Wantage Road, which I think was presented to the club by Lordford, so I think that was 1920s, when they did some ground improvements. But that's not working. I thought we should send it to the repair shop and see if the clever people there could do anything with it. Beautiful thing. Scriven in again, bowls, and that's a drive by Bartlett, misses outside the off stump, taken smartly by Ben Cox standing up, who has the bails off in a flash. He's going to replace Benburn's less to trot.
It's a stand stump to him.
Well,
medium brisk pacer.
I suspect you might well see Lewis McManus standing up to Ben Sanderson when Northamptonshire turn to bowl, at least later in the second spell or something. Here's Scriven in, on leg stump, clipped away by Bartlett, but straight to mid-wicket, and there's no run.
I'll tell you about the clock tomorrow and how they acquired it, but it wasn't made for them.
Well, the clock just ticking past 6 o'clock, but have 8 balls to go in the day, but the over 8 most commendable from Leicestershire today. Here's Scriven in again, bowls to Bartlett, who drives beautifully through extra cover for 4. Just threaded it between the two fielders, mid-off and extra cover. Crosses the boundary, just up by the main scoreboard, and let's hope it hasn't gone under the covers, because that's a serious, no, it just stopped short. That's a serious nuisance when you have to either move the covers or crawl underneath them, and they will snag on the back of your jumper, and messy business. 71 to Bartlett, 337 for 6. So Tom Scriven has 1 ball further to bowl in the day. 2 wickets so far in his bag. And he's in and bowls to Bartlett outside the off stump, left alone, taken by Ben Cox, and that's the end of Tom Scriven's stint for the day, and a good one it has been too. 20 overs, 2 men, 2 3 4. It's 37, 71 strays, 5. And a rider of deck.
It won't be Rahan Ahmed. His warming up notwithstanding has been in vain. It is going to be Ben Green. See if he can pick up that first wicket in Leicestershire colours. Has not had much luck. Brackets any. Today, update coming for BBC Radio Leicester. As Green is in and bowls outside of Chase. Slower, they have picked up wickets throughout the day, 6 of them in fact against Northamptonshire, but Northamptonshire have scored nicely as well. They've had a run rate of 3.5 per over. 337 for 6 is the score at the moment. George Bartlett is 71 not out. All the Foxes bowlers, or at least the 4 main bowlers, have picked up wickets, 2 each for Green and Spring. They have excelled, but as I say, there have been a few loose balls as well. They'll consider the day reasonably balanced, Leicestershire, but bearing in mind that they did put Northamptonshire in, there'll be an element of disappointment as well. They'll need to come back strong tomorrow. Just 4 balls remaining, 337 for 6. In goes Green and beats the bat of Tremaine again outside off stump. Again, it just... And Tremaine makes the gesture that it's swinging away. But that's good. He won't be displeased about that. He's already done his job because if his wicket falls for the day, and he'll be eventually he'll have it in his hand. Green is in and bowls, and a very tentative push from Chris Tremaine as that one began to move away. I think he wanted to leave it essentially, but was a little late in making the decision. 2 balls to go. George Bartlett will be anticipating tomorrow. with some relish. Nice to go in overnight, 70 odd not out. With 4 wickets in hand, every chance of going on to 100. Green is in, bowls. Oh, beauty that beats Tremaine. All ends up. Outswing, a little bit of bounce as well. Green turns, not exactly disconsolately, but, well, with the air of a man who, if not disgruntled, is very far from being gruntled.
Yes. You wait till Ben Sanderson bowls, then you'll see disgruntled.
1 to go. Green is in to Tremaine, who is forward on off stump, pushing the delivery out to point where Rehan Ahmed feels, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is us done for the day. 337 for 6, Northamptonshire, and given that they were put in, they will be pretty pleased with their efforts on a pitch that has been a good cricket wicket. As Andrew said, it's offered just a little bit to the bowlers from time to time. Most of the movement Toucher has been through the air. Leicestershire stuck at it. They'll probably be disappointed with the number of sort of 4 balls that they did bowl, but as I say, they stuck at it, and they will probably claim the day has been roughly balanced. But I think overall probably something like 70-30 Northamptonshire, Andrew.
Yep, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think Northamptonshire have had a pretty good day, as we mentioned earlier, with the possibility that we may lose some time out of the advantage. Northamptonshire, nevertheless, let's start it with away from swing for doing his consistent start to the season. I'm sure that we'll be feeling happy to cut that on if it's not well permitting.
We're here nearly 11 to 7. Troops were less than